Hello, beautiful people. Welcome. If this is your first time here, welcome back. If you are a returning supporter, I truly appreciate you hanging out with me every Sunday night. I couldn't ask for a better group of people. Tonight is Sunday night dinner and convo, nurturing conversations, and tonight we are talking about unlearning toxicity. Do y'all know how long it took for me to get that word together? Toxicity. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and first I got it. If you're a live streamer, you definitely need some of this. Y'all probably can't see it. It's probably flipped the other way, but hey, you definitely need some of this. Okay, got my music playing in the background. I'm doing better. I'm doing better, pulling it all together. Y'all might hear the fans because it's hot. Anyways, let me go ahead and give you my disclaimer. I do not tolerate disrespect in any way, shape, form, or fashion that is towards me or towards anyone that appears in the chat, appears on the screen. If you are in July of 2022 surviving a global fucking pandemic and deciding to be negative, that's what we're here to talk about. Unlearning toxic traits, right? Toxicity. Um, I would like to encourage you to not be here. I mean, we're here to have a conversation, a nurturing conversation. It's a judgment free zone. However you feel is how you feel. My opinions are my opinions. Your opinions are your opinions. We are here to just have a conversation. There will be curse words. There could possibly be tears. Um, let's see. I am not a mental health professional. I am not a medical professional. I am just one woman willing to share my personal experiences to let you know two things. One, no matter what life throws at you, you are able to overcome it. Two, you are not alone. We all have experiences. I personally started nurturing conversations. I started Sunday night dinner and convo because I feel like we don't talk. As human beings, we would rather send a text or write a post or all of the things where we would normally communicate with each other. We don't do that. We just feel like people should know and we don't talk about it. So I decided to create a space, a safe space where we could talk about it. Nurturing conversations. Sunday night dinner and convo, nurturing conversations. Um, you might not agree with what's being said, and it's an okay space for you to not agree, long as you don't be disrespectful. It's fine. You could agree to disagree, you can whatever, as long as you're not disrespectful. Um, let's see, I think that covers everything. There will be cuss words, a lot of them, possibly, maybe. Thank you for joining me. If you haven't already, follow, like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell, share this out to your friends. Tell them, hey, we having a conversation about unlearning toxicity. I'm gonna keep saying it because it took me a long time to get that word. And you know, you tongue tied and you have a stutter, a speech impediment. Words are hard. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about this topic because if you don't know, I've been on a journey of healing and self discovery. One of the best decisions I've made in my life outside of therapy and just like being me. Um, and on this journey, I had discovered some things about myself. And as I discovered the things about myself, I began to like get to the root of them, right? Um, One of the things that I discovered about myself is I hated rejection. See, I told y'all it's a speech and rejection. I hated rejection. And I mainly hated rejection because I felt that both my mother and my father rejected me. So I would, I became a people pleaser in the attempt for people not to reject me. Oh, I got all that out in one thing. So yeah, I became a people pleaser, and I spent majority of my time denying myself happiness, denying myself wholeness, healing, just so I can make other people happy. And I didn't want to like I didn't want people to be upset at me. I didn't want people to be hurt by me. I mean, there's so many different things that come with it. And then as I've been on this journey of healing and self-discovery, I learned the importance of forgiveness. Not mainly for everyone else, because when you hear people like, you need to forgive, they're always talking about in the sense of another person. But I have come to understand that the most important person that I need to forgive is myself. Because a lot of times I would find myself beating myself up about situations that I had no control of them. No control. And so those are some things that I had to unlearn. And in the process of unlearning the fear of rejection, I decided to go and talk to the two people that I felt rejected me. In talking to my parents, I was able to understand where they were at the time that I was conceived, like my life, how they interacted with each other. And for me, it was the opportunity to forgive them or forgive what I felt like they should have done. I know you're probably watching this like, nah, my mother, my father, they could have. But I'm gonna ask you this question, right? Especially if you are a parent, right? Imagine you having the circumstances that they had. Imagine putting on their shoes and walking in their shoes. We all can say, like, I don't have any kids. I don't have any kids. So I could be like, yeah, if I had kids, I would do this, 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 and this. And then when you get kids, the situations, your environments, everything changes, right? I wanted to talk about this because there are so many toxic things that we experience in our lifetime, and sometimes we don't understand like why they are there. Sometimes we don't even know that they are there unless someone tells us that, hey, you're being real toxic right now. So I wanted to talk about these things, especially because it's July, it's 2022. We got like 5 more months left in this year, and I just want people to be better. I want people to live their best life, and the only way you can do that is if you let go of the toxic shit. You can't be out here in 2022 walking around being negative and being rude to people and disrespectful. I mean, you could, but why would you do that? It's 2022. You survived a global fucking pandemic. I realize a lot of the toxicity that exists in a lot of our lives come from the environments in which we grew up in. I should have gave this disclaimer. I'm going to talk about me and my personal life and where I come from and the things that I experiences. And at no time am I going to include anyone else in that. I mean, I'm going to talk about my parents because they are the people that, got me here. But other than that, I will speak from my personal experience. But I realized like that rejection played a huge part in my life and the things that I did, the places that I went, how I interacted with other people. And I didn't realize it until I started going to therapy. And then it's like when you realize, like somebody say, oh, you real negative. And then you take a minute and be like, I'm not negative. And then you start thinking about the things that you say, the things that you do. And then it's like, wait a minute, I am negative. And then how did you get negative? Like for me, it's like, okay, you get angry fast. What makes you get angry fast? Maybe somebody talking loud, or maybe somebody's talking back, or maybe somebody continuing the conversation after you feel like the conversation is over with. Maybe that's something that makes you really angry. Then for me, my question would be to you is, why? Why does that make you angry? Why do you find people responding or people continue to talk after you feel like you're done talking? That's a pet peeve of mine. Is when I feel like we're having a conversation and then a person feels like they don't want to talk anymore. So they'll be like, next subject or on to the next topic. And I'm left dumbfounded. Like, wait a minute, but I wasn't done talking it. And then what I realized is like, That's it could be considered a toxic trait. Um, it's either avoiding. Angel, thank you for coming by. I have a question for you. Why does everything make you angry fast? But for me, I realized that I like when people like try to cut me off. It's like, wait a minute, you can't cut me off. I'm not done talking. But a lot of people, and you probably experienced this in your life, right? A lot of people will quickly shut down. They will shut down the conversation if they feel like it's gonna get to an argument. They shut it down. Me, I wouldn't say that I like to argue. My people would probably be like, yes, she's the great debater. I am a great debater, but I know how far to take a subject. You know, like I know boundaries. I have that. I know boundaries, so I don't go too far. But I do be dumbfounded because in my mind it's like, wait a minute, I didn't even get to say my piece. Like most times, people just rah 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 rah, and then that's the end of it. Like they don't let you respond. They don't let you say your piece, and then you're just supposed to walk away and be okay. And in my 42 years of living, that's something that I still to this very day I struggle with. Mainly because I didn't understand. I didn't understand um how many people avoid conflict. And then as I understand why people avoid conflict, or like the root cause of most people avoiding conflict, it makes sense. I'm not, if you know me, I'm not a fighter. I don't fight. I don't got that rah rah. I mean, I do. I can get down with the best of them, but that's not my everyday life. I don't live in that space. I live in peace, love, and positivity every day, all day. But when it comes to like people hearing other people, like empathy, that's what it is. When I know that a person is going through something, I am empathetic towards them. I'm not just like harsh, rude, disrespectful, but that's a lot of people's, I was gonna say trauma response. Guess that's what I should say. Trauma response. You ask them questions like, think about this, right? You ever had somebody ask you, how was your day? Or are you okay? 9 times out of 10, your response is going to be yeah. But while you're saying yeah, in your mind, you're going to be like, man, I'm stressed out. This is so much going on. I got all these bills I need to pay. But you're going to say yes only because that's like what you've been accustomed to. You've been accustomed to saying yes. You've been accustomed to suppressing your feelings, your emotions, because you don't want to burden other people. You know, I would usually, previously in my life, I would not tell anybody. Like I would struggle just so that I can hold on to the independent, I got it, I don't want to ask anybody for anything. I would struggle, right? And then as I began this journey of healing and self-discovery, it was like, no, that's something that I learned as I was growing up. It was like, it was cool to be a strong Black woman. Now, if you're a Black woman and you're watching this, I'm not saying that, you know, your lifestyle is wrong. What I'm saying is I denounce being a strong Black woman because I need help. I had a whole community of people helping me. I needed that help. Had I not went on this journey of healing and self-discovery, I do not believe that I would be in the place that I am right now, because the last 4 months of my life was crazy. I could not have made it. I would not have made it had I still been holding that. I would not have made it. And I had to actually depend and lean on the people in my community. And for me, if you know me, if you don't know me, it's hard. It was hard for me. Hard. It was already hard, like for me personally, and then experiencing the breakup, that, you know, put a little extra hardness on it. And so this journey has been an eye-opening experience for me. Because I definitely feel like I look at life differently, right? Not just because I almost died, but I look at life differently, right? I feel like I've always looked at life differently, right? You ever go to the gas station and you see, like, I don't know where you live, but I live in Wisconsin. There's always people either on the gas station or on the median when you're driving, and they have signs like hungry. Some say we'll work for food, or they just need something, right? I remember growing up and people would like make fun of those people. I remember like church people. This is no knock to church people, but we all know church people. Church people would like give to the people, but they would pray like if they go buy alcohol or drugs or something, let their stomach, like pray weird stuff over the people. And in my mind, I was like, I'm never going to do that. And anytime I see somebody, like the other day, Wednesday was Mateo's birthday, and I had went to Little Caesars and I had ordered a pizza, and I said 2 sausage, 1 pepperoni. The lady gave me 2 pepperoni, 1 sausage, and so I'm looking at it. She's like, "Well, here's an extra pizza." So I'm like, I hope. As I'm driving, I'm like, I hope someone is on the street because I'm not going to eat all this pizza. I know Mateo and the kids aren't going to eat all this pizza. So I'm driving down the street, and luckily someone was out there, and I gave them a pizza. And I didn't think anything of it because I was like, I always knew, like, I'm the type of person, I'm gonna give. If I see a person out there outside of the gas station, I'm gonna give them some change. I'm not gonna, oh, whatever you do, because when we pay our bills, we don't be like, if you go buy some kids over in Taiwan, we don't say none of that. If you spend the money on process, we don't say none of that. But we pay them bills, we pay our pastors, we pay anyways. So I gave the pizza to the man standing. I didn't want to go on a tangent because anyways, I gave the pizza to the man standing in the median. My nieces and nephews was in the truck. They was like, maybe he gonna be thirsty when he eat all the pizza. I got water in my truck, so I was like, give me some water so I could give to him. And it was, for me, it was like, that was an opportunity to show them the importance of like helping out another human being. Like, for me, that was like the greatest thing. Like, they was super excited to like give the person. He was so happy. He actually went and over to the bus stop and started eating the pizza, and they were happy, like they just won the lottery or something. And I was happy because I was able to share that experience with them. And I thought to myself, like, what if I would have been mean and rude to him? What am I showing them? Like, if you ever be in the presence of little kids, and like last month was Pride Month, right? And I was talking to young people, I was talking to older people, just people in general, right? And the thing that struck me the most was when I can never say this. Hopefully one day I'll be able to say this and not get emotional, right? The thing that struck me was when people would say that their parents would put them out when they came out the closet or whatever, right? And for me, that didn't happen. That wasn't my story. That wasn't like what happened to me. But in my mind, I can't fathom like carrying a child for however long you carry it, and raise it and love it and nurture it, and then because they are not who you want them to be, to put them out. And so during Pride Month, I made it my business to talk about being gay. I made it my business to not just like on social media, but like in my community, in different spaces that I walk in, because it's like people have this idea of what it's like to be gay, but they really have no clue. Especially being Black, especially growing up in church, especially, it's a lot of especiallys in there, but people have no clue. And I wasn't doing it so that they can like, ooh, yeah, we got a gay. No, I wasn't doing it for that. It's because most people don't understand what it means, and a lot of people don't care to understand, because like I said last month when I talked about understanding homosexuality, religion makes it seem like it's a really bad disease that you should never even think about or try to catch or anything like that, when in reality it's just another part of the human experience. That's how I explain it. It's just another part of the human experience. Um, as I journeyed, talking to other people, understanding their experiences, I realized that a lot, I just said this a few minutes ago, but I'm going to repeat it because there's new people here. We're talking about unlearning toxicity. A lot of our toxic traits that we have as adults come from the environments, come from our family, come from the places where we were raised. Imagine growing up in a household where every time they see a gay person, they call them a derogatory term. That's what I'm going to say. They call them derogatory term, or they putting them down all the time, or they're laughing at them, or they're making fun of them. And then your child decides, like, that's who they are, right? That's just who they are. That's who they're going to be eventually. So now your child, after hearing you make fun of these different people or talk about these different people, now your child is suppressing their likes and their self because they don't want to be talked about. Like, if you think about it, right? There was a period of time in humanity that people weren't out and, as most people call it, flamboyant, because they were afraid of the things that would happen to them. There's people in your family who have experienced fucked up shit at the hands of family members, but they don't talk about it because what happens in the family stays in the family. And then the cycle continues where other generations experience those same fucked up situations, but instead of people having the courage to stand up against the toxicity, they continue to allow it to happen. A really big toxicity that is huge is the masculinity, the presence of boys don't cry, or stop crying, you little insert derogatory word here, or just putting people in boxes, right? When I think about the toxicity that, like, not even just me that I personally experienced, but in environments that I was in, it's just like one day that person is going to grow up and they're going to struggle in an area, and no one's going to be able to help them because I'm looking at that area as, you need to suck it up. Suck it up. I was molested and look how I turned out. Suck it up. You're going to cry your whole life about being molested. I personally didn't cry my whole life about being molested, but I knew how being molested affected me. Like, to this very day, I could see clearly, like, I could put my finger on it. I know how it affected me. It didn't affect me where I wanted to take my own life. It didn't affect me in that manner. But I know people who it did affect in that manner. I know people who it affected where they became really, really, really highly super, I forgot what it is. I think it's a nympho. It's a word that they call for people that were overly sexual. I know a bunch of those people. I also know people like me that was just like, that's not the big thing for me. Like, everybody can have sex. Everybody, literally everybody can have sex. Everybody can have sex. For me, I need something more than that. Sex is a given. We're humans. That's, if I'm attracted to you, you're attracted to me. That's a given. That's what's going to happen. I need to know if you can communicate. I need to know your toxic traits. I need to know if you take accountability for your actions. That's what I need to know. I need to know things like that, because once the sex is over with, what do you have? What else is after that? I want to be so healed where when I get into a situation and it doesn't work, I don't feel completely bad or devastated, like my life is over. I want to be able to be like, you know what? It didn't work. It didn't work. And here's why it didn't work, and be comfortable with that. Totally comfortable. I realized so many things about myself, right? I realized when I was younger, And you probably got teenagers, or you probably was a teenager yourself, and you remember, like, yeah, you used to talk about the people that was less fortunate, that had Payless shoes, or British Nikes, or LA Gears, and you got whatever you got. And then you sit down and talk to them. Like, I would sit down and have conversations with people, right? I went to a predominantly white school, so like that kind of like that was a cultural shock in and of itself, right? But it taught me to look at other people's circumstances, because I felt like, these people come from 2-parent households. They got 3, 4, 5 cars, a big house. They in every sport, everything. I thought their life was amazing. What could you possibly? What could your gripes be with life? You're living the American dream. But then when I actually started to talk to these people and understand where they were coming from, it's like, oh, whoa, no, it's not all what it's cracked up to be. You might see somebody that have their father in the house. You don't have a father. You was like, man, I wish I had my father in the house. But people that have their father in the house is wishing that their father wasn't in the house. This is why I say it's important for us to talk to each other. Like I was going through a really bad breakup, right? It was really bad. And usually I would just internalize everything and not talk and not just put my head down and just work. That's what I would usually do, right? But because I was on a journey of healing and self-discovery, I started talking to other people who had experienced breakups, divorce, being cheated on. Like, I started talking to other people just to understand, like, just to get a sense of, I am not alone. I am not alone. Like, this wasn't just some random, woo, I got picked out of everybody in the world. Like, this happens every day. People break up, people get cheated on, divorce, babies come, all of these things happen every day. I just chose to like not make it about me. I just wanted to know, like, how do you get over it, or how you get past it, or how did you make it through it? Maybe your journey through it, like my journey of healing and self-discovery, it happened all played out on social media. Maybe yours isn't going to play out on social media, but if it does, you can feel free to reach out to me and I can help you overcome it. I can show you some things to do and some things not to do as it's playing out. Because I learned, I've been through that. So I feel like people who have already been through the spaces, they can tell you where to go and not to go. They can tell you how important it is to embrace your emotions. A toxic trait that we need to unlearn is that emotions make us weak. It's the fact that you have emotions. It's the fact that you can understand where I am in my life that makes you human. That's what makes us human. I know we get accustomed to surviving fucked up shit, so we just looked at things negatively, right? That's a toxic trait. Your mama treated you horribly, your daddy treated you horribly, so people just innately are horrible people. But in reality, not everyone is horrible. You just had experiences with some fucked up people. Now, there are fucked up people out there, but not everyone is like that. Not everybody wants to manipulate you. Not everybody wants to control you, because I don't want to control anybody. Like I said, I want everybody to live their best life. Like, there's no way we are surviving a global fucking pandemic where millions of people died. They are no longer here with us. I survived. You probably had it and you survived. There is no way that you should wake up every day since the day that you survived it, or since the day that this global fucking pandemic happened, and you're not happy. There's so many people unhappy. And a lot of us are unhappy. You see, I included myself in there. A lot of us are unhappy because we are allowing toxic shit to control our lives. Toxic shit. toxic family traits, controlling toxic family traits. Our parents, maybe your parents want to be basketball players and now they got you in AAU and all of the you going to basketball camps, you're doing all of this, but you don't want to play basketball, you want to play football. Or you want to be a doctor or play chess or something. But because you don't want to offend your parents, what do? You go play basketball, you go to AAU, you hoping the whole time you break your ankle or something so you don't have to play. And then you could do exactly what you want to do. But in reality, it's like all you have to do, I was going to say all you have to do is save, but there should be a safe space where people can say, I don't want to do that. And it'll be okay. Like there's a conversation, okay, I don't want to do that. Why don't you want to do that? That's not my dream. That's not my hope. That's something that you want to do. I want to do X, Y, and Z. And there should be a safe space. It should be okay. Thank you for letting me know that, or I understand where you're coming from, but there isn't a safe space. Like people don't have a safe space to be vulnerable, like to tell you like, hey, when you said this, that shit made me feel like this. Because when you do say some shit, like you say something, hey, what you just said really hurt my feelings, people will be like, suck that shit up, or insert other words here. Like I don't say derogatory because again, I don't tolerate disrespect, so I'm not gonna disrespect anybody. But we don't allow safe spaces. Like if you think about your family, right? If you're in a situation and you want to get out of that situation, you want to. I'm the only girl and I'm the oldest. So, of course, my brothers talk to me about a bunch of shit. Now, I'm going to say before the conversation even started, like I gave my disclaimers with y'all. If you do not want my opinion, I encourage you not to speak to me, because if you tell me some shit and I'm processing the shit that you're telling me and then you ask me my opinion, I'm going to give you my opinion. I'm not going to do it in a disrespectful way, but I will tell you this. Like if I feel like you need to step away from something, I'm going to tell you. It's not even my brother, it's anybody. If I feel like you need to step away from something, or I feel like you're making a hastily decision, I will tell you that. I feel like we need to have more people who experience shit tell us shit. That's the thing that I appreciated about my generation, or the older people, the people that's older than me, because they was swift to tell you some shit. Like my family was quick to tell you. They was quick to tell you. Now sometimes it took them a long time to get to the point in what they was trying to tell you, but they was quick to tell you. I started to think about like when I had to have a hysterectomy, right? Like I wanted to know everything there is to know. Like, of course, I was reading and I was doing research. I was doing all of that, but I wanted to know from someone who has actually experienced it, right? I want to know, like, what was some of the things that you experienced after that? Like, how did you get through the process of it, or what did you understand about it? Because I didn't have a clue. I never had one before. And so I began to find a community of people who have had experiences from good to bad to some people who changed their mind about having it. Like was able to get all kinds of information and understandings from just people being vulnerable enough to talk about it. And for me, why I do this nurturing conversations, because I am literally an open book. If you don't think I'm an open book, you can go back to any one of my YouTube videos. I talked about my entire life, my journey from like childhood up until 42. And I do that because I want you to know you are not alone. I'm talking about toxicity today. I had some toxic traits. I used to gossip like a mug. I used to talk about everybody and everything. And then one day I woke up and I was like, that's a waste of time. It's a waste of time, energy, and it's nothing but negativity. I don't want to be negative anymore. When I say When I say I don't want to I don't want to have nothing to do with negativity. I don't want to have any. If I can't provide light, love, and positivity, I literally. Your parents probably said, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say nothing at all. If I can't provide light, love, and positivity, I don't say anything. And I will be quick to tell you I don't have anything to say, and I will be quiet. I don't want to pass down traits, like boys can only play with trucks and basketballs, and girls can play with Barbie dolls, and she can't play with the trucks. Like, I don't want to pass high jazz. I don't want to pass that toxicity to kids. Like, they're kids. They don't know anything. I was about to say they don't know nothing. They do not know anything about the differences that adults know. They don't know that. If you think about it, right? Kids nowadays are overly sexualized, and not just because it's the cartoons. You people like to put it on the cartoons. It's not the cartoons, because think about it. What cartoons are kids watching right now? Like, my nieces and nephews, they watch Cocomelon, True, Booba, Super Y, Word Party. They watch this stuff. But think about the kids. Think about the songs that they're singing. And you thinking they cute. Oh, look at them. Look at them. They breaking it down. They twerking. They doing all that. You thinking that's cute. You're creating a cycle of toxicity. You're building a foundation of toxicity for your child. Think back to your childhood. Mine was like 42 years ago. But think back to your childhood, right? And things that happened to you, right? And sometimes even like, you have people that say, oh, I'm overprotective. But the reality of it is you, regardless of everything you do right, you could do everything right. You can teach them. You can show them. You can lead them. Everything you do right, your child can still turn out bad. And a lot of people like, oh, well, it's all about their environment and where they grew up. Well, I grew up in church and kind of the streets. And I mean, I had a balance of both. I'll say I was balanced. I had the Bible and the devil. There was a balance of them. It was balanced. I'll say that. I was in church, but I was at the same time I was in church, I was drinking and smoking with the people in the church. It was a lot. But I said that to say this, right? If I say, I've been saying this for the longest, and maybe one day a parent or a guardian or somebody will hear me. The most sacred place to a child is their home. If they're getting beat at home and called dumb, stupid, retarded, slow, you can't do anything right, you just like your no good daddy or no good mama or whatever, all of that negativity is depositing in them, and it's going to stick in the back of their head, in a little closet in the back of their head. It's probably a big one, but whatever. It's going to stick in the back of their head, and every time they go to do something, it's going to come to the front. You're no good, you're dumb, you're slow, you're super retarded. And so they're going to start believing that. And now they're in high school, they want to play sports, they want to do anything, like they want to flourish, they want to grow, but they don't feel like they can. You are the first defense against all of that. If you come from a family where you know Uncle Pete and Auntie Karen was touching people, your first priority as a parent, you don't have kids, you can't talk to us. Listen, I'm going to talk to you because I raised more than enough kids. Your first priority as a parent is to make sure that your child is safe. If that means not going to the barbecue, you can't go to the barbecue because you know Uncle Pete gonna be over there slathering the ribs, because we all know Uncle Pete with his old man sandals gonna be over there flipping the ribs and the burgers on the grill. You can't go. You shouldn't want to go. If you are a parent and you know that your child is hurting, how do I know that my child is hurting? They don't talk to me. If you watch your child go from outgoing and loving to be around, or loving to go to people's house, and now they don't want to go to that person's house anymore, or they just want to be in their room, they're not being their joyful normal selves, you should start talking to them more. Talk to them, especially if they have like a Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, a TikTok, anything like that, because these predators, these predators is like everywhere. There's predators everywhere. There's predators at church, there's predators at school, there's predators on these swim teams, basketball teams, all these other teams. They are everywhere. If you don't believe me, go look at the news. High school coach having sex with the girls at the volleyball. They're everywhere. Pastors being moved around because they're touching. It's everywhere. Everywhere. The first defense against everything is at home. So, if your child doesn't feel comfortable at home, they're more likely to go to school and bully other people because they're being bullied at home. If you're abusing or beating, I remember when we were growing up, like they would whip people with extension cords and tree branches and like everything possible. But it's like, how is the type of kid where all I need you to do is talk to me, just help me understand what I did wrong, I could quickly turn away from that. That was the kind of kid, even as an adult, like, don't huff and puff at me. I just need you to calm down and tell me what happened. Like, why are you upset? What is going on? I just need to know that. And then I'll be like, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that what I said offended you. But if you roaring and you are angry, I don't want to talk to you when you're angry. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, cause you never, like, if you think about it, right? We all in a global pandemic, life was shut down, and everybody was like, "Oh, check on your strong friends or whatever." But who was thinking about the kids? Cause they had to endure too. Think about the kids that didn't go to prom, that didn't have a graduation, that wasn't able to go to college. Like the kids from like 99 until like damn near now, they didn't have the experiences that we had. They literally had to go to school virtually. Like, you probably have kids right now that's like happy to go back to school or couldn't wait to go back to in class, even though we're still in a global pandemic, but couldn't wait just to get out of the house. Telling your kids they never gonna be nothing. You ain't gonna be nothing. You dumb. You just, like, in my mind, when I think about it, right? Like, I look at my nieces and nephews. We had so many birthdays since June 1st up until like this. Bobo's birthday was last night or yesterday. So she's the last one until like September, October, December. So she's like the last one. We had a back to back, right? But I look at my nieces and nephews, right? I don't have kids. So I look at them and I would say, I would do anything to protect them. Any fucking thing. I will go against my mother, my father, sister, brother, auntie, uncle, cousin, just to make sure that they are good. Because as a child, no one protected me. And I had to endure shit as a teenager, as an adult, as a young adult, all the way up until now. That had I not went to therapy, I'm grateful for therapy. I don't want them to have the same experiences I have. Like, I want them to feel so comfortable coming over to my house and talking to me about anything that they literally talk to me about any and everything. Sometimes I'm in the back of my head, I just be like, oh, I didn't want to know that, but okay. That's what I want it to be. And as a parent, if your child doesn't feel comfortable talking to you, you should want them to feel comfortable talking to someone. And that's someone being trustworthy enough to come back and tell you, and you being confident as a parent to say, you know what, let me help you. Beating up your child because you feel like they're gay, that's not gonna take the gay away. I personally believe that you can't pray the gay away. You can't take the gay. You can't beat the gay. You can't slap the gay. You can't heterosexual the gay away. You can't do any of that. Like, if you're gay, you're just gay. Like, if you're heterosexual, yeah, you're heterosexual. I was gonna say you could change, you can't change, but if y'all know what I be knowing, people be changing all the time, flip flopping. Anyways, but more so, it's about having conversations with adults who have kids or who have close association with kids, so that we're able to understand. For the last couple of years, right? I don't know if y'all been paying attention, but I seriously been paying attention. There were so many kids on the list of people that no longer wanted to be here. So many kids. It was so many kids. And in my mind, I was just sitting, I was reading their stories. There was this one young lady. She was 15. I'm sorry, I get emotional when I think about I get emotional when I think about people who we should be protecting each other. Like that I literally think that we should be protecting each other, right? So she wrote a letter to her mother, and she's like, her uncle had been abusing her. Her mother and daddy, I guess they was married, and then they got a divorce, and they were fighting all the time. And then her uncle came over, and he consoled her because her mom and daddy was fighting all the time. And then he started taking advantage of her. And then, she's in high school, she's going to school, she's meeting other people. And so she just basically put in her note that she couldn't deal with it anymore. And as I'm reading this note, I'm bawling. So I'm like, I know the mother is bawling. Like, I know, whoever reads this is bawling, because it's like, she's young. We shouldn't have to experience these type of things. Like, if a child doesn't want to go somewhere, it's not, I'm the parent, you gonna go where I say you gonna go. They're trying to tell you indirectly that they don't want to go there. There's a reason why they don't want to go there. I'm talking about kids. I don't know. But there's a reason they don't want to go there. I never, if I have my nieces and nephews and they be like, I don't want to go, I don't go. I don't go and be like, oh, well, just stay by me. No, I just don't go. Clearly, there is a reason why they don't want to go there. Clearly, there is a reason why they don't talk to the. You ever have a baby and then you try to give the baby to somebody? There's a reason why that baby don't want to go with that person. They say kids know good spirits, bad spirits. There's a reason. If your kid come home every day, they drunk or they high, there's a reason for that. I don't know if people just don't think there are reasons why people are doing things. If your child is acting out or something happened, that something that changed them from being the fun-loving, non-disrespectful child to now that they are just disrespectful, they fighting all the time, something happened. Figure out what happened. I'm going to always say, go to therapy and get to the root of the problem. Angel had said earlier that she don't know why she get mad so fast. I'm pretty sure if you take the time to think about it, you'll figure it out. Maybe you just get highly irritated. Something just irritates you. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying maybe you just get highly irritated and that's what it is. Or maybe you just, anger is just your thing. I don't know. I'm not a mental health professional. I'm just somebody who experienced a lot of things and I'm willing to talk about it, right? A lot of people don't talk about shit because they opened up to somebody and that person went and spread the secret that they had all over everywhere. And now other people are looking at them funny. I'm going to tell you this, right? If nobody else ever in life tells you this, 2 things that you should know. 1, people gonna talk about you regardless. If you got a whole bunch of money, They're going to talk about you if you ain't got shit. If you ain't got a pot to piss in or what to throw it out of. I wanted to say that for so long anyways. They're going to talk about you. And two, you are the only person that can make yourself happy. So if you wake up every day and go to your closet and say, what am I going to wear so people can tell me how good I look? You doing it all wrong. You should wake up every day and be grateful that you open your eyes and you can breathe and you can move your activities. You have the activities of your limbs. You should be grateful for that. And then from there, you brushing your teeth. Just talk about how grateful you are. I'm grateful I couldn't brush my teeth. You know how many people yesterday could brush their teeth, but today they can't? Do you know how many people can like put their own clothes on yesterday, but today they can't put their own clothes on? They need help putting their clothes on. I real life, like when I walked up you're probably like, I walk up the stairs every day. When I was able to walk up my stairs after 3 months of not being able to do stairs, I literally sat at the top of my stairs and I cried, because you never know how things, you never know how important things are to you until you are not able to do it. You never know. I was thinking, on my birthday, people was like, are you celebrating your birthday? I was like, no, I didn't even, I knew it was my birthday, but that didn't matter to me. Like, I just wanted to take my mother out for a really nice dinner, because without her, I wouldn't be here. And because we've had a pretty rough couple of months. They were pretty rough. But I just want to spend time with her. I want to spend time with everybody. Like, time has always been the most valuable thing to me. But now, even more, time is so much more important. I thought back to when I first started meditating. At first, it was like, oh, I'm just going to follow you. You have all of these preconceived notions, right? I was like, I'm going to fall asleep. I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm even going to, let me just try this small amount. First I tried 5 minutes, then I tried 10 minutes, then I did 20, then I did 30, and now I just like sit in silence, or I just sit and have meditative music like on repeat, and I just sit, right? I spent so much of my life on the go that now I truly appreciate the opportunity to sit and be still. I truly appreciate the opportunity to, like, if somebody call and like, we all know. I don't know if it's like the way the phone rings, but like when somebody is about to be on some foolishness, when they be like, girl or bro, or it's that first word that lets you know. And I immediately, like, it's immediate now. Before I like sit and listen, but now it's like, it's a no. I can't have that in here, because light, love, and positivity. If you're not light, love, and positivity, I can't have that in my space. I'm 42. I lived a life. I lived that already. Light, love, and positivity. Happiness. That's all I want. That's all I want. I don't want to be around people that feel like they have to put other people down to raise themselves up. We in 2022. That's high school shit. I'm a grown ass woman. I don't have to talk about nobody, anybody. I will pick up the phone and call you, because I'm a caller. Or if I know where you live, I will pull up on you. Hey, let's go grab some food and let's talk about this. I'm a talker. If you can't tell, I'm a talker. I'm not going to be out here gaslighting you like, yeah, no. If I feel there's something that you and I need to talk about, I'm not going to come. Like, you have people that be like, I'm just a blunt person. No, the reality of it is you have some insecurities on the inside of you that you have yet to deal with. And it makes you feel good when you talk to people bluntly. That's a reality of it. I'm just blunt like that. Just say, no, there's some things on the inside of you that you have yet to heal. If we all be honest, right, a lot of this stuff stems from our childhood. Our insecurity stems from our childhood. I used to think, like, when I was growing up, like, we literally had everything. I had everything. When I say everything, I'm gonna say everything. when I was growing up, from game systems. Like, if you would have came to our house, you would have literally thought like we were rich. Like, we had every everything. Day beds. I don't know if y'all remember day beds. I had 2 day beds. I had easy bed. I had everything. Everything. And then as I got older, it was like I was going to the store buying Coach bags and Dooney Burks and all of this shit, right? And I never wore any of it. I would buy big old Coach bags, but only wear the little wristlets. And I started looking at that shit in my closet, like Pumas and Air Force Ones or Dookies, whatever you want to call them. And then like Air Max, I would look at all this shit and it's just like, I only have 2 feet. I don't wear any. So I just start giving it away. Like, I get so, I would say, like, people be like, oh, it's retail therapy. I go buy stuff and that's therapy. It's like, no, 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 no. I don't want to spend my money on that. So then I started taking myself on vacation. And people would laugh at me because I will go on vacation by myself. But I found so much joy in going on vacation by myself. That was pre all of these times now, that was pre, but I would find so much joy. Like, I literally lived in like Vegas and Arizona. Like, I was there all the time. And then it was on my 26th birthday in Vegas. I woke up and I'm just like, I'm tired. I'm tired of carrying around baggage. I'm tired of carrying around other people's guilt, trauma. I'm tired of carrying around all of that. And I started going to therapy. And the more I went to therapy, I'm not going to lie, when I first started going to therapy, it was just like, this some weird shit. Like, why am I in here talking about myself? But if you think about it, right? How often do you talk about yourself? How often do you talk to yourself? When a lady asked me, when was the last time you cried? I was like, exactly what I just did right there. I was like, what you mean, when was the last time I cried? I cried, when my grandma died. And then while I'm thinking, I'm like, wait, my grandma died in 1995. And then you start associating the last time you cried was when somebody died, when it's like, we grieve every day. I real life had to grieve a relationship that I'm still struggling with the grief of it right now, but I had to grieve the relationship because, they say you see the potential in people and you want so bad. Like, if I could just do the Thanos snap and shit I would Thanos snap my fingers for a lot of shit, but I can't. So I have to remove myself. I have to set boundaries. And as this journey of healing and self-discovery is showing me that you will always love a person and you will always want the best for them. But at the present time, I cannot allow you to be in my space to affect my healing process. Literally and figuratively. I can't do that. I love you enough to walk away. That's some like powerful shit right there. Loving a person enough to walk away from them. And I sit with those emotions because it's definitely an emotional process when you have to let go of somebody. Like, all of my life, like, I held on so tight to people that I knew. Your mama probably was like, that ain't your friend. You probably had your mama, somebody, your cousin, somebody probably told you that ain't your friend. And you was like, no, that's my friend. That's my homegirl. We kicking it. And then something happened and you be like, damn, you really wasn't rocking with me. But in my life, I had to realize it's okay to let people go. It's okay to let people go. People will try to make you feel guilty for letting people go. Like I said, I'm including myself in there. Like, we be kicking it with family members we know we don't fuck with. We know if this would have been anybody else, we would have stopped talking to you a long fucking time ago. But because you are family, we gonna still kick it with you. We're gonna come to the barbecues. We're gonna go to the birthdays. I said to myself, not in 2022. I'm not doing that no more. If I don't fuck with you, I just don't fuck with you. I will have love and respect for you, but I'm just not going to fuck with you. That's where I'm at in my life. I respect you enough not to come to your party. I respect you enough. Because, sometimes there's people like to guilt us and like, that's your grandma, that's your cousin, that's your auntie, uncle, that's your brother, you should do that. That's a lot of like that toxic shit. That's a lot of toxicity, right? Families have so much toxicity. Like, it just be an abundance of it. Like, I was thinking, like, my mom suffered a stroke and she's dealing with the repercussions of the stroke. She's dealing with the things from the stroke. And at first it was like, I'm not gonna try to handle everything first, because I'm a handler. That's what I do. I handle everything. But then I thought to myself, like, she's not married. Like, she's not in the space where she can truly care for herself, so someone has to care for her. And I thought to myself, who's going to do that? Who's going to do it? Her favorite sons, they help, but they're guys. Like, and I'm not giving them an excuse, because my younger brother, he told me, he set me down. He told me, he's like, this is why. And I thought to myself, like, at one point in time in my life, I was there too. Like, there is this lady, I loved it. This lady restored my faith in humanity. She restored my faith in humanity. And she got sick. And because I was afraid to lose her, so I withdrew myself from her presence. She didn't do anything wrong to me. Nobody did anything wrong to me. I withdrew myself from her presence because I couldn't take another loss. Like, I had just lost my uncle, I had just lost my godmother, and then she gets sick, and I'm like, I can't take anymore. Like, I can't. I couldn't. And so, like, now it's been a couple of years, and I'm just like, I want to know if she's okay, but then there's still that little part of me like, but I can't. I just can't. And I literally just told somebody today, it was like, you know what, I'm going to call them. Like, after this, I'm going to call them. I said I was going to call them earlier, but I'm going to call them after this live. I'm going to call them, because a lot of time it's that fear that stops us. It's that fear that tell your friend, your friend is a rude and disrespectful bitch, male or female. They're rude and they disrespectful. But because you don't want to start a conflict, or you don't want to tell them that they wrong, you allow them to shit on you. No. It's 2022. We gonna stop all that. You wanna be big and bad and talk about people in front of people, we gonna cut that right where it start, right where you started. That's where we gonna end it in 2022. Well, that's for me. I will let people say and do all kinds of shit, mainly because it's like, I really don't care like that. People who do that shit, like, you already know. People who rah and do all of that, you already know what they like to be like. You already know. But the reality of it is no one ever corrects that. No one ever tells them, like, hey, that's enough. Chill out. You gotta go and deal with your emotions. Like, nobody tells people that. We just continue to allow people to do fucked up shit, and then just expect things to be okay. Like, that was me. Like, that was me seeing the potential in people and wanting them. Like, I know you could be better than what you are. Like, you don't have to shit on people every day. Like, I used to think, like, man, I used to work hard and I used to have all those purses, but I never was like, oh, look at me, I got a Dooney and Burke purse and I got the latest Air Force Ones. I didn't give a fuck about none of that. Like, if we go out to eat, Y'all see the video where it was like 6 people who had went out to eat and one of their friends didn't have money and they all ordered food. Now granted, I know you probably be like, well, he should have had money before he went out. But there's no way I'm gonna go out to eat with my friends and I know somebody don't have it. Now if you always come and you don't ever have it, I'm gonna make sure that you bring your wallet or your Cash App, your Apple Pay or something. But if I know that you don't got it, I know your situation, I'm gonna make sure that you good. Ain't nobody else gotta know. If I had to Cash App you money while we sitting at the table, we good. I will never, that is never not ever been me. I cannot allow, like, I won't allow that. If you are allowing toxicity around you, like maybe you're not doing it but the people around you are doing it, like I was somewhere and somebody said something that was really, really disrespectful. Like it was so disrespectful. It didn't even, like, before I even like fully like thought about what I was about to say, I heard what they said and my response was just like, that was so fucking rude. And they looked at me like, wait a minute, you don't never, clearly that was rude. We have to stop letting people be rude. Like if you're a parent and people are saying disrespectful shit to your child, you don't allow that. You shouldn't allow that. Whether it is their mother or their father or their grandmother, their parents, whoever it is, you should not allow disrespectful shit to be said. I remember they was having a thing about coaches, AAU coaches and football coaches, like calling kids dumb and stupid and being like all of that. Like they should not be saying that kind of shit to your kids. I probably shouldn't put a curse right there, but they should not be saying things like that to your child because again, it registers in the back of their head. It's there. It's going to be bouncing around their head. We should be more mindful of the things that we say and do when it comes to not only ourselves but to other people. Like it's a lot of people out here walking around that do not love themselves. You be like, do you love yourself? Everybody be like, yeah, I love myself. Then why the fuck do you work at that job that you hate and complain about every morning? That doesn't have nothing to do with me loving myself. It does. You're wasting your time at a place that you really don't like. Do you love yourself? Yeah, I love myself. Then why are you in that relationship that you haven't grown since being in a relationship? Like I real life was thinking like my last relationship allowed me to grow so much. It allowed me to grow so much. And I was laughing this with somebody earlier today. I was like, I think I'm ready to. I ain't even said the word yet, but y'all know, I think I'm ready to. Ready. I think is the key word. I think I'm ready to. I feel like I need a little bit more time, but I think I'm ready now. Cause like I'm the type of person, like when something doesn't work, I'll just be like, oh man, that shit didn't work. It was just like, wait, why didn't it work? What could I have done differently? Or what, like I want to know. And so then when I was sitting back, it was like, I really need to dive deep. And I dove deep and I was like cleaning up shit from my childhood. Rejection being one of them. Clean that shit up. I started to think about it like, I didn't really cry. I didn't cry. And I understood why I didn't cry, but I didn't cry. And now that I'm thinking about it, it was like, thank you. I thank you for the emotional intelligence of it all. But yeah, I just thought to myself, like, I never wanted to be that type of person that spent all my time like talking negatively about people, about places, about things. Like it's a waste of time. Life is not promised to anyone. Like at any time you could go out to the grocery store and somebody decide, I'm just gonna walk in here and do what I want to do. That's it. Kids can go to school. You can kiss them, have a good day at school, and then you get a call that they never coming back. Like, you could be watching people. Like right now, you could be watching them, and then you don't see them for 3 months. You don't know what happened to them. That's why everybody that I come in contact with, I try to get to know them on a level where it's like, if I can help you in any kind of way, I will do that. I'm not for, I gotta do this to get money. I've never been that type of person. Never. Because I always feel like what is meant for me will come. What is meant for me will always be there. And in every instance of my life, what is meant for me has always been there. Always. I remember I used to like do things for people and I'd be like, oh yeah, they're gonna love me and they're gonna wanna hang out and kick it with me. And then I started to realize, because I was always paying the bill, or I was always treating, or I was always like, hey, hop in the car, not asking for gas money. And I drive a big ass truck. I don't know if I drive a big ass truck, and trucks, take a lot more than little cars. And I started to think like, no, I have to be more responsible to me. I have to think more about me. Like, I'm spending all my time running people here, there, everywhere, from crosstown, uptown, downtown, out of town. And then I get home, I'm like dead tired. I can't do any of the shit that I wanted to do for myself because I'm tired. No, I have to start thinking more about me. Yes, thank you for joining. I had to think more about me. I had to think like when I was younger, because I felt rejection, and because I didn't feel loved by the two people that I felt was supposed to love me. That opened the gateway. I will say that opened the gateway to predators. That opened the door for like people, like older people will come and be like, oh, you so cute. Or, the first is like compliments. Then it's like buying you like little shit, like take you to the store and getting you like snacks and shit. And then it's like, oh, you like to get your hair and nails done. Then they paying to get your hair and nails done. And you're not thinking anything of it because you're like, yeah, my hair and nails, I got snacks and all this shit. And then next thing you know, it start elevating to other shit. And then it's like you stuck in some shit and you can't get out. And then you start telling other people what's going on. And this is why, for me, I think I get so emotional because I told for the longest time of my life, I did not like the sound of my voice. It's not because I'm a singer, like I am a singer, but it's not because I didn't sound like anybody else. It wasn't because of that. It's because I used my voice so much. I was telling so many people what was going on with me, and nobody did anything. Nobody tried to stop them. Nobody tried to do anything except for when I was like 16 and I told my godmother and she was like, listen. And she told me what to do. She told me how to do it. And every time she saw any instance of it, she was right there. And I felt protected with her. So when I lost her, that was like my world. Like, it was like I was thrown into the wolves. Like my grandmother, my uncles, and my godmother, like they protected me. Like they made sure like I was good. Like I didn't fall by the wayside. Like I wasn't consumed by alcoholism or anything like that. They made sure that I was good, and I was grateful. I will forever be grateful for those people. But I hated my voice because I talked so much about what happened, and people would try to make it seem like I was crazy and like it wasn't happening. And then there's like, why would they choose you? Hell, I don't know why a molester would choose, a pedophile would choose me. I don't know that. Seems to be like the question, like instead of adults believing the child or believing that somebody that they look up to or somebody like Uncle Pete or grandma or grandpa will actually do some shit like that, when you know that they did it to you, so you know that it's actually fucking happening. But why do you find it in your mind heart or whatever to ask the person why they would choose them. They don't fucking know. I hated my fucking voice. I hated the sound of it. But the really ironic thing is I knew that it was going to be my voice that was going to take me places that I knew it was going to be my voice that was going to take me places. And I would be speaking, I would be singing. I knew that, but I still hated the sound of my voice. I would record songs, I would release them, I would write songs, I would do spoken word, I would do all of that, but I hated the sound of my voice. Started a journey of healing and self-discovery, began to heal the things that happened to me when I was a little girl, when I was a teenager, beginning to forgive myself and know that I couldn't have done anything differently. I couldn't have. I was a child. I didn't know. I was doing shit thinking I was protecting myself. Hey, Tamika. But I was only I remember sacrificing myself so that other people wouldn't have to have the same experiences I have. I was a fucking child. I was a fucking child, and I remember sacrificing myself. And I didn't even look at it as a sacrifice. I was just like, I don't want them to have that same experience. But when you go to therapy and they put it all together, and it's like, damn, I was real life sacrificing. And then I started to think about all the shit in my life that I sacrificed to make other people happy. And then I started to say to myself, if I could sacrifice shit to make other people happy, I need to start looking more inside of myself. I stopped hiding my feelings. I stopped carrying that strong, independent woman. I am still a strong woman. I'm not as independent as I thought I was. But I started receiving help. When I told the story about when I went into surgery, I felt so much love. To this very day, when I tell you I feel love, I mean every 5 seconds, I feel like somebody is hugging me. Nobody's here. I'm not crazy or anything, but it feels like somebody is hugging me. And it was because I got to a place where I allowed the love in. Before, I had this idea where I had to be the best. I had to talk the best, be the best, achieve great accomplishments in order to be loved, when it was just like, no, I am love. I am love. And when I allowed love to come in, every 5 seconds, I just feel like somebody is hugging me. I feel loved, but that love did not happen. It could not have happened unless I went on that journey of healing and self-discovery. I had to unlearn I don't have to do anything to be loved because I am love. I had to unlearn the whole thing about rejection. I'm going to do this so you don't reject me, and I'm going to do this so you don't feel bad. I had to learn. And then there's the thing, people know that they can guilt you into doing shit. People will use guilt all day long. I had to learn my association with guilt. I had to let that go. It's a no for me. I was afraid to tell people no because they wouldn't talk to me, or because do you know how many people talk to me now? I used to wake up all the time, every day, and send 15, 20 texts. Grand Rising. Hope you have a wonderful week. Hope you have a beautiful day. Hope all is well. Hope your night was I was sending people texts just because I want people to be have positive things, to start their day with positivity. And I stopped texting and calling people, and then I was like, damn, my phone dry. Don't nobody be calling or texting or nothing. My emotional, and it kind of hurt me, because I was like, damn, I be calling and texting everybody. And then that's when you realize, are you doing it to get people to call or text you, or what are your intentions? And I was like, no, my intentions is really to make sure that people have, good days. When I thought, when I was away for 3 months and nobody called and texted, it didn't bother me at all. And I thought to myself, like, I didn't tell everybody what happened to me. I just told like my community, and like they luckily enough kept it in our community. And so people would see me and it's like, dang, where you been at? And then I forget, like, oh, you didn't know that I just had surgery. Even like now, like I be talking to people and my voice goes in and out, and it's full and then it's not full. And so I was like, yeah, I have vocal polyps in my throat. And so I was like, there's like, oh, are you going to have the surgery? I was like, no. Oh, I forgot. You don't know that I just had surgery 3 months ago. I'm never doing surgery ever again. Ever. It's a no for me. But then I started telling them, like, how the experience has been and what's been going on. And they're looking at me like, holy shit, I never would have thought that. Yeah, I was never one to like broadcast like what was going on with me. And so me coming to YouTube, like YouTube definitely helped me. YouTube and Twitch definitely helped me get more comfortable with talking about me. I would never talk about me. All of my life, I would say the last 3-4 years is the most I've talked about myself in my 42 years of living. 4 years compared to 42 years of living. I was so afraid of myself. I would dim my light because I was so afraid to just be successful. I was afraid to like be the confident speaker, or I was afraid of all of that. Not that I couldn't do it. I know I can. I've held a conversation for 1 hour and 22 minutes. I know I can talk. It's just I had to get comfortable with my voice. And now the more that I've been comfortable hearing myself speak and just being comfortable in my voice, then it's like, oh, you have vocal polyps. So now it's like, if it's not one thing, it's another. That's what they always say. If it's not one thing, it's another. I love to talk to people. I love to get to know people and know where they come from, what they've been through, because that helps you understand people. Like when you get in a relationship, right? I don't think you should like divulge everything of your ex or the person that you was with before, but I think you should talk about them, like, because it gives you some character. Like it gives you like, okay, let's see, I like to pay attention. So a lot of times I be paying attention and I start noticing patterns. Like, so if you have a pattern of like when I said like people who like talk to me and then they just like, oh, well, I'm done. Next subject. And you do that repeatedly. You do that. Insert, y'all know what word I'm trying to say. If you do that a lot, I'm going to start to feel some. I used to feel some kind of way. Then I started to understand that people don't like, especially people who grew up in households where there was a lot of yelling and a lot of nagging. Like they don't like confrontation. They don't like, if they feel like the conversation is about to take another step up, they're gonna quickly end that. Me, I don't like to like. I just don't want you to cut me off. Especially if it's a good conversation, it's like, oh yeah. And then it's get to a part where I don't agree with you or you don't agree with me. And instead of you not realizing like we don't have to agree, like no two people are alike. You don't have to agree with me, but you couldn't respect my opinion or you could respect my views. Like I'ma always respect people's views. Like I grew up in church and I'm gay. So I respect people like, well, God said that's an abomination. And the younger me, I was just laughing with this about my brother yesterday. The younger me would be like, well, it's an abomination to have seafood boils, but who'll be having seafood boils all the time? The younger me used to do that. But now the older me is just like, okay, one day you will figure it out. And then that's when I had that conversation where it's like people was actually kicking their kids out because they was gay. And it was like, what happened to the God of love? What happened to that? You on the phone gossiping, talking about somebody ain't no good. They ain't never been no good. She's sleeping with this person. He's sleeping with this person. They doing all this, and then you wonder why your kids is. My mama said, my daddy said, my grandma said. Now you want to beat the child because they only repeated what you said. That's that toxicity. Stop talking about people. Stop gossiping. It's 2022. If you can't elevate another person, if you can't lead them to a better way, stop talking about them. Don't do that. It's 2022. Don't do that. If you telling your kids that they have to do this in order for you gotta clean up and I'll give you this. That's why I say families. There's a lot of toxic shit in families, right? Because parents will tell kids shit like that, and then when somebody will come and be like, "Hey, if you clean up my yard, I'll give you whatever." Hey, if you come ride with me to the store and get to the grocery store, and it's you opening up the doorway for pedophiles and really bad people to get into your child's life or teenager's life or hell, even adults' life. Like, there's so many adults out here looking for love. So many people fucking looking for love where they taking it from wherever the fuck they can get it. Literally, wherever the fuck that they get it, they can get it. They're taking that love. That's not love. That's not love. If somebody really loves you, they will not want to cause you any harm. Love. Parents love their kids. They don't want anybody to, but at the same time, you kicking your kids out because they're gay. I don't understand it. That's the thing. I don't know. I would just need a parent to help me understand that. Like, or trying to, when I talked about understanding homosexuality, you probably like, you talk about gay stuff all the time. Hi, I'm gay. When I share with somebody the Lisa Ling documentary that they did about the Pray to Gay Away and all of that stuff, and they watched it and they was like, I never knew that happened. It's like, if you know a person is a certain way, like if you know I'm gay, right? Why would you be trying to hook me up with guys? I'm gay. Like, gay. Like, gay. Or why would you be trying to change me? Like, why wouldn't you just love me for me? And that's where I'm in a point, like, I don't give a fuck what you say, what you think, or how you think it. I'm going to respect your wishes. I'm going to respect. But I don't give a fuck what you say or what you think. I really don't. I respect it, but I really don't. Because at the end of the day, you see that? Y'all see that? I'm smiling because I'm happy. All my bills are paid. I can turn this off. I can still be happy. I can go watch Black Panther 15, 20 times if I want to. I'm happy. I don't have no stress, no worries. This journey of healing and self-discovery helped me with setting boundaries. It helped me with like cutting people off and not feeling guilty about cutting people off. Because in my younger days, I would feel so guilty. Like, but they've been my friend for a long time. Man, we've been through so much stuff. But at the end of the day, it's those fucking things that's holding you back. Nobody gonna say, I say it. It's those fucking things that's holding you back. If you ever look at your friend and if you have never, like I said, if you have never looked at your friend, your co-worker, your mother, father, sister, and brother and be like, why do I talk to you? And if all you can come up with is you're my mother, you're my father, sister, brother, cousin, auntie, the familial relationship, or we've been through a lot of shit together, it's time for you to reevaluate that situation. It's time for you to reevaluate it. Think about it. If you and a person been through a lot of shit together and then you decide, I'm going to go on a journey of healing and self-discovery, and now you're starting to heal and let go on the things you once did, you no longer do, that friend's going to start feeling some kind of way. Because why? Because now you think you better than them. That, my friend, is an insecurity trait. Like, I used to hear that so much. You think you better. You think you better. And I was like, I never think I'm the first one to tell you. I'm the first one to point out all of my flaws and all of the problems and issues that I got. Just so you can know that I am not perfect. I will never strive to be perfect. Perfect is not even in my vocabulary, even though I've said it multiple times. But that's not something I strive for. Hi. I don't strive to be perfect. I strive to be a light for peace, love, and positivity. That's all I strive to be. Every day, I wake up with the intention of being nothing but peace, love, and positivity. I'm not going to say that's easy, because shit, it's negative shit all around us every day. I be scrolling on Facebook or doing TikTok, and I just be like, man, like, why do the world have to be so fucked up? Like, why do people have to be so fucked up? Like, why won't people? There's this saying that there's a bunch of sayings, but I'm going to tell you the top two that I really just like. Why the fuck do they even exist? Hurt people hurt people. Because in my mind, it's like, okay, if you hurt, why don't you go get help so that you're no longer hurt and you're not hurting people? That's one. Number two is generational curses. Because in my mind, now maybe I'm probably thinking about this wrong, but generational mean that there were people above you that had the opportunity to like put a stop to shit. Like, let's go back to Uncle Pete and Auntie Mary. Like, your grandma knew that Uncle Pete was, what he do. But your grandma didn't want you. She didn't want him to go to jail. He could change. But he ain't never changed. Generations has been affected by Uncle Pete. And then there's like, we don't talk about that with outsiders, or what happens in this house stays in this house. That's that dysfunctional family shit. Because now you got people in the household, you got brothers and sisters doing shit to each other, and now they going outside and they're like, you can't have friends with this person because you're my friend. If y'all know the code word for friend, you can't have relationships outside of me because you are mine. And then that becomes normal. It's normal to like be controlling and manipulative. That's normal. It's normal to hide your feelings of I don't want to go to my mom's house for Thanksgiving. But people won't say that because your brothers and sisters will make you feel like shit because you don't go to. She was a great mom. She did all this, but the reality of it is to you, she wasn't. And I would tell anybody. I be telling my brothers. I be telling everybody. You don't have to go anywhere that you don't want to go. Now, people be like, you telling kids that if your child tells you that they don't want to go somewhere, as a parent, you should take that into consideration. But they having a party over here. Who gives a fuck about that party? Because your child is trying to tell you something. But we don't want to listen to kids because kids should stay in a child's place. Should stay in a child's place. Where is a child's place? Anybody know that? Kids don't get help because it's like they try to tell us something, but then adults start to take that personally because what you saying, I'm not a good parent. What you saying, I'm not taking care of you. When in actuality, they're just saying like they slip through the cracks a little bit. You taking them over that person's house, and maybe that person is beating them, or maybe that person is just really not a nice person. They seem nice because you're an adult, but they really not nice. I remember like you couldn't go when I was growing up, you couldn't go nowhere. They wasn't letting you go. You wasn't going up. Back in my days, you wouldn't. If you fix your mouth to talk about you was having a hotel party, that is a no for me. Nowadays, they have hotel parties, they have everything. There's like no boundaries. Like people was like, you shouldn't want to be your child's best friend. Fuck that. I'm gonna tell you should want to be your child's best friend, especially in 2022 with human trafficking, sex trafficking, all this trafficking going on. You should want to know how your child is feeling and what your child is feeling. You should want to know all of that. You should want to know their friends. You should want to know every fucking thing. Before people be like, oh, I don't want to be overprotective. Fuck that. You should be that. You should be. I remember I used to see the kids at the mall, and I see why they start doing, like as they start making curfews and shit, because those little kids be at the mall all day. And in my mind, I'd be thinking like, damn, how are you 12 and 13 out at the mall all night? What? And your parents didn't call like, oh, my mama dropped me off here. It's a no for me. Maybe I'm just looking at the times and like, oh no, it's a no for me. We went to Stonefire yesterday, and I was talking to someone. I said, is it me or do these kids look grown? They look grown as hell. Like, I was looking at the girls, they was like 13, 14, 12, long ass weaves, crinkly with the side parts. I said, man, we were still wearing barrettes and these at that time. I know it's probably like a different time, but it's like, no, you should still want to be a child. Like, you should still want to have that. But then I'm realizing they don't have that. They don't have that thing that we had. Because so much shit is being allowed in households nowadays. Like, they don't have a safe space. They don't have that. You could once go to the church for a safe space, but churches aren't safe anymore either. Schools aren't safe. Like, damn near, it's hard to find safe spaces, I guess. It's hard. I'm not telling you like unlearning toxic behaviors will be easy, but in actuality, it kind of will be, because if you have a friend that keeps shitting on you every time y'all go out or get out in public, one day you gonna pop off and be like, I'm sick of your shit. It shouldn't have to get to that one day. Like, it just take one. This is one time for me. This is one. I'm gonna let you get off everything you need to get off. And then as soon as you finish, I'm gonna light into your ass. You never gonna do that to anybody else ever again. Because that's how it should be going now. If you know people are being rude and disrespectful, you should cut that off real fast. Especially if the other person that they being rude and disrespectful to did nothing to them. We allow so much toxic behavior because we don't want to hurt people's feelings. We don't want them to feel bad. We don't want them to project their negative shit on us. I don't give a fuck. You can project out here all you want to. It's going to do nothing but bounce off of me and come back to you. I'm too fucking old to be that. I'm sitting on the phone talking about people. Come on now. There's so much other shit we could be out here doing. Do y'all see how much money is out here? You can literally sit at home and stream and play video games all day and get paid. You don't even have to do it all day. You can do it 3 times a week and stream and get paid. You see how much fucking money I don't got time to be negative or manipulative or dismissive. I'm light, love, and positivity. Light, love, positivity. That's all I'm trying to be for the rest of my life. I'm trying to share the information I got so that in the event, like, you get into a situation and you feel like you're the only person that shit happened to. No, you're not. I'm just one of the people that will talk about the shit. Everybody else will hide it or act like it. That shit never happened to me. When secretly, you know that shit happened to you. You know you was molested. You probably was molested by your brother and sister. You probably wasn't molested by a pastor or church. You probably was molested by your auntie, your uncle. And people don't ever put women in there, but women be molesting people too. You probably molested by your mama. Because mothers be doing fucked up shit too. And you're just supposed to forget that the shit happened to her. I'm one of those people that don't believe that you will ever forget. Even if you, like, somebody's like, oh, if you get Alzheimer's or dementia, you will still remember. You might not remember in chronological order, but you will still remember. You ever heard the stories about people that work at nursing homes, and then the people that are older and they're white, and then they go back to their days when they was calling people the N-word? Yeah. They probably was sweet people all up until that time, and then they remember when they wasn't sweet. You never forget. You just learn how to no longer react, but you learn how to respond to situations. It's time we unlearn toxicity. Calling our kids dumb, stupid, retarded, telling them that they ain't gonna be shit because somebody told you that. Why would you pass on that generational shit? Like generational curses. Oh, alcoholism is a generational curse. Nobody thought to take people to AA meetings. Like nobody thought to like get anybody help. I get it. We don't be wanting people to know what's going on in our family, but fuck that. I'm thinking about the next generation. I don't want anybody after me to have to experience none of that shit. If I gotta stand 10 toes down and punch that shit every fucking day for the rest of my life, I'm gonna stand 10 toes down and punch that shit every day. Toxicity, I'm gonna punch it every day. If every time somebody say something negative, I have to come back and say 5 things positive, I'm gonna do that shit every day. They say it takes 17 positive things to counteract one negative thing. Do you see the math in that? That shit is ludicrous. You can hear one negative thing. It's going to take 17 other positive things to counteract that one negative thing. So if you calling your child dumb, stupid, retarded, every day when they wake up, maybe they didn't wash the dishes. Maybe they went to bed and forgot to take the garbage out. Now you calling them dumb, stupid, retarded. Now they are going to be traumatized about taking the garbage out. Then they're going to be like, they're going to have feelings of self-worth because you caused them to feel negative about themselves. Cute. I see some of the cutest, the most beautifulest people don't love themselves because they wasn't reassured. Like, I be telling people who have kids from like the ages of 1 to 5 to 7. I be telling anybody that got little kids, like, this is the most pivotal times of their life. So you should want to know what's going in and out their ear, what they seeing. I remember we was growing up, you wasn't watching no rated R movies, or you wasn't watching nothing. You wasn't watching nothing with too much violence. You wasn't watching too many horrors. You wasn't watching horror movies, but until you got older. But you wasn't watching all of that. Like, all of that wasn't. This is a no. Bad enough you already saw it when you went out the house, drugs and violence and all that stuff when you went out the house, but it wasn't in the house. Telling your kids that, oh, girls don't do this and girls don't do that. Like, I was having a conversation with somebody. I said, you know what's so crazy to me? That people, like parents, real life, pick what their kids are going to like and then get upset when their kids don't like what you like. I remember watching a documentary where the girl, like, she was born with both male and female parts, and the parents decided that she was going to be a female, but the girl felt like a male the entire time. And so she grew up, and of course she had, if you watch that Usher, sorry, of course she had some, reservations about it because they were upset because she wanted to be a male, but she was like, you made the decision to make me a girl. And then my mind just thought about, like, how many times do parents or grown people or adults make decisions for kids because they want them to do that? Like, I want you to be a strong, manly man, so don't play with Barbie dolls or anything. And then you worried about, and then when you get older and you wonder, like, why your husband, boyfriend, baby daddy, or whoever you with don't show emotions. That's because they weren't entitled to do that when they were growing up. Because men don't cry. Boys don't cry. Shoot. I would prefer that you cry. I would prefer that you cry. I prefer that you speak about what's going on with you. I prefer everything. Everything. Because in this day and age, relationships aren't just ending the way where people just walk away anymore. We see that in the news all the time. And then they don't have just the thought to say, you know what, I'm in a relationship with you. Let me just keep it. They shouldn't be thinking about this at all. But they go beyond you. The kids parents, like it goes above and beyond. And for me, it's like if we all just go back to the point where we are thinking about ourselves and healing ourselves and getting the help that we need, you don't feel like yourself. Go to therapy. I will say find somebody you can trust, but we don't trust too much of anybody nowadays. But go to therapy because it will help you. Even if you go to church, if you church, temple, Buddha, Allah, whatever deity you serve, I'm pretty sure you can go to therapy and still serve your God. That'll be a balance right there. It's a complete balance. Gotta unlearn toxicity. If you go to church and you feel like your religion is the greatest religion and every other religion is going to send people to hell, that's toxic. Toxic. Because God is love, whether it's Buddha, Allah, Muhammad, whoever, they're love. That's the essential, like that's the foundation of it, is love. So if you're telling people that they're gonna go to hell for not living the way that you want them to live, that's you're doing God's job, and that's not your job. Your job is to love. 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 Not to be judgmental. Not to say, I'm not judging, I'm just pointing out the truth. I'm just being blunt. We always making excuses for why we doing shit. I realize when you start taking accountability for your action, you realize how many excuses you give yourself in a day. I was realizing how many excuses I was giving myself not to do shit. Man, I wish I had more time. And then when I went down, it was like, you got nothing but time, so why you not doing it? And I started doing the things that I needed to do, and then it was just like, yeah, I was giving myself too many excuses. You've been wanting to write a book. You've been wanting to start a business. You've been wanting to, somebody was like, you gonna use your parents? You gonna keep talking about your parents? I will, because maybe somebody didn't tune in that day and they didn't understand. Like, I didn't have the best relationship with my parents when I was growing up. I love both of them. I loved both of them, but I didn't understand the dynamics of it until I had conversations with them, and then that changed the relationship. And as an adult, I've had wonderful relationships. My father is no longer here, but my mother is here, and I have wonderful relationships because it's understanding where they are at that time. It's like you're a parent, right? And you're probably thinking, like, you're probably not thinking about this. Like, when my kids grow up, I want them to be, like our parents is thinking, like, man, when I get older, I don't want them to put me in a nursing home. You're probably not even thinking about that. You're probably not even thinking about that. You're not thinking about it because you're probably thinking, like, I bought them all the Jordans, the Kanyes, the Yeezys. I made sure they had all of everything that they need to have, when in actuality, they don't give a fuck about none of that. You going and buying all these fucking shoes, and your kids see somebody, they go to Walmart and see the little light up rainbow shoes, and that's what they want. And you like, my kids ain't never gonna wear no light up rainbows. Forgot how happy you were when you had your fucking light up rainbows. Toxicity there's so many toxic things, especially in I keep saying families, but especially in families, it's toxic shit. You gotta talk to them because that's your brother. You gotta talk to them because that's your sister, mama, auntie, uncle, cousin. You don't have to. It's not gonna change your relationship if you don't talk to them. I understand people want everybody. We want. Can we all just get along? Sure, but I don't have to get along with you. I don't. If you continuously say fucked up shit every time I'm in your presence, I don't have to be in your presence because I don't have to hear that fucked up shit. You don't have to go to your parents' house. You don't have to go by your siblings' house. If your siblings are the kind is both, oh, look at, I got this beautiful big old RV. You don't even go anywhere. If your siblings are constantly putting you down because you're not the token child or whatever, families are so fucking toxic, y'all. People don't want to admit it, but families are pretty toxic. And that's where a lot of toxicity starts. from big cousins beating up on little cousins because they got to make them tough, from people bossing other people. Like, I never in my life ever, I told you I'm the only girl and I'm the oldest, and I never wanted my brothers to feel like I was bossing them around ever. I wanted them to know that they had an equal say. Everything, your opinion matters. The shit that you got to say, it matters to me. I don't know. I always said if I was gonna be a parent, I would be a crazy ass parent, because I would want my child to have a say. I'm never gonna be like, "Oh, you gonna do this because I say do it." I mean, I get it. Adults, we have kids. People have kids so they can boss somebody around. Think about it. If you really love your child, like the moment you hold your child in the arm, you come out. The moment you hold it in your arms, the first thing you say is, "I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure that your life is better than mine, or I will do whatever it takes to protect you." You say something along those lines, and then as they get older, you allow the situation with their mother or their father to like determine how you are now like caring for this little person, and then now this little person is like put over to the side. You take care of it because you're a parent, but at the same time you are looking for love because that situation didn't work. Or you just a parent, or you just an adult looking for love because the last couple of situations you was in didn't work. Instead of taking the time and going, pause, let me go on a journey of healing and self-discovery. You know, I have been in a lot of relationships in my life, and I have never unpacked the baggage from the previous relationships. People don't be unpacking shit. They just hop from this relationship, take that little escalator, when you're in the airport and you just get on it and roll to the next one, and they on to the next relationship. Now it's like, yeah, relationship goals, we traveling, we doing all this shit, and then that one don't work. Is dysfunction. I remember when I was like in my teens, or like late 20s, mid 20s, late teens, mid 20s. I didn't have any stability in my life, like none. I remember saying to myself, you got to stop running one day. And what was I running from? My past. And it wasn't until I became homeless that I realized, like, you can't run forever. Last month made 7 years since I've been homeless. You're probably looking at me like, he was homeless. Hell yeah, I was homeless. I was literally out here sleeping in cars. People would let me come to their house, but I slept in the car for the majority of the time. I was still in Vegas. I was still doing. And back when I was homeless, it was like, oh, this shit is so. But I didn't realize how freeing it was. It was such a freedom for me. It allowed me the opportunity to start over. And then I got into this place, and I've been here for 7 years. And now I think it's almost time for me to move on to greener pastures. And I'm hoping that, things line up the way that I know they're going to line up, and then I will be good. Then y'all be seeing me in a new location, possibly a new state or another country. We never know. Well, y'all will know when it happens, but that's where I'm at with it right now. Letting go of all of the shit that is holding you back. Is you telling me to leave my relationship? I'm telling you, if you are not happy, if you wake up every day and you're not happy, if you wake up and you look at that person and you be like, I can't stand your ass, and you're not saying it in a ha joking way, you real life like, I can't stand your ass. If I had a better job, if I had more money, if I had a place to go, I will leave you. At this point, it's 2022. You gotta choose you. That's all I'm saying. Choose you. Go to therapy and unlearn the toxic shit. If you watched your mama nag your daddy all the time, unlearn that. Or you considered it nagging because she talked to him all the time. She wanted to know where he was going, why he was hanging with those people. Those are real life questions. Like if you know that your husband, baby daddy, baby mama, whatever, is hanging around people that's like partying and drinking and smoking all the time, and you know that those people get down, like you know how they get down, you gonna ask those questions. Why you gotta go out every night? Like you went out last night. Why you can't stay at home and kick it with me? You're gonna ask those kind of questions. Just unlearning the toxic shit. Like the shit our families taught us, like the shit we just, oh, that whole what happens here stays here. Like I've never liked it. I've never ever liked it that, and I never ever liked it to hurt people. Never, because in my mind, I'm gonna keep saying this. I feel like if you're hurt, if I can take the time while I'm hurt or I was hurt, and I could take the time to heal myself and unpack shit and get over shit and let shit go. You could do the same thing. We all can do that. We all should take time to press pause and work on ourselves. I didn't mean to smile like that, but hold on. I didn't know how bad I needed that breakup. I didn't know that. I didn't know how bad I needed to break up until it happened. I am so grateful for it. It has been a blessing to my life because it helped me get further down the road of healing and self-discovery. It helped me get to this point where I am right now. So I will forever be grateful for it. Just like being homeless, it helped me see life differently. If you always can go home and flick a light switch and have running water and have a comfortable place to lay your head, you're not going. What do you have to worry about? What are you going to be worried about? Because you know you could go and flick that light switch. But if you're homeless, you got a lot of worries. You got to worry if you're going to be protected. You got to worry about, okay, what parking lot or where I'm going to sleep at. Like I'm telling y'all, like I never in a million years would have thought I would have ever been homeless. Ever. And it put me in a position of total uncomfortableness, and like every other fucking thing that ever happened to me, I made a way out. I made a way out of that. I never gave up. I always believed. My uncle, God bless the dead, used to always tell me, like, you are so inspiring because you persevered. And that word just kept ringing in my head. It's like persevere. And I just used to think like, shit get the toughest. Shit gets so tough. When I was going through this breakup, that shit got real tough for me. And I was just like, you know what? There's something I'm supposed to be learning here. That's how you know when you get to that point where you're growing, like you're maturing. Instead of you looking at it like, you want to blow up and do all that, it's like something I'm supposed to be learning. Clearly, I'm not learning it or I'm not seeing it because I'm allowing all of the other shit, but let me sit back because it's something I'm supposed to be learning. And when I started paying attention to the shit that I'm supposed to be learning, relationships was getting built, I was able to accept love. I can't even describe how that feeling felt. But all I can say is like every 5 seconds, someone is hugging me. I knew you couldn't tell me not a day in my life that I didn't love myself. But the moment I said to myself that I did not love myself, I broke down and I cried. I cried so loud. I cried ugly. It was snot everywhere because that realization for me was like, it was everything I needed to realize, right? Because when you actually take into consideration if you love yourself, you wouldn't do some shit. You wouldn't allow people to do fucked up shit to you, and you wouldn't do fucked up shit to yourself. You wouldn't put anyone else's wants, needs, hopes, and desires before yourself. I would tell, like, I have brothers, they all have kids, and I was like, if you are not okay, there's no way in hell you can make sure your child is okay. That's just my belief. If you are not okay as a parent, there is no way that you can make sure your child is okay. And then because you're not okay, you are involuntary, I don't know what the word is here. You are showing your children, like, I remember I used to think like, and I never seen my mother cry. 42 fucking years on this earth, and I had never, well, not at this present time, but when I was like, I never seen her cry. I seen her get like, this one time we stood on a bus stop and this man asked her for some money and she's like, she ain't had no money because she had just went and bought us food at McDonald's. And I seen her like, that was the first time I ever seen her be anything other than loving and nice and kind. But the man snatched the McDonald's and she wasn't really caring about the McDonald's. She was more so caring about us. But I saw her like, get beastie. I saw that. But I never saw that again. And I thought to myself, like, dang, that must be taxing to be like that every day, all day. And then she had a stroke. And now I look at her and I'm just like, I don't know how you feel about your parents. But like, even though like my parents, like I felt like rejection or whatever, and I talked to them, I understood where they are. Like my parents, I've always had this idea of my parents in the back of my mind. Like my mom is like the strongest woman I know, like ever. And like now since the stroke, I watch her and it's just like, it's so heartbreaking because she's not the same person that she was. And it just makes me sad because it's like, damn, like that could happen to anybody. Like it could happen to me. Like when the situation happened to me, like I wasn't, even now, like I'd be ready to work out and want to work out. And then like, I just don't have the energy or I don't have the strength. And it's just like, it sucks. But I figured a way around that. Perseverance. I figured a way around that. Y'all will see that this week. But I think about all the toxic shit that I endured in my life. And I made a list. I made a mental list of it. And I like every day I say light, love, and positivity. When I wake up, when I'm brushing my teeth, light, love, and positivity. Before I step outside the door, I say an affirmation, light, love, and positivity. Before I post anything on any social media, light, love, and positivity. That's all I want to be, period. I used to think that it would be hard to not like talk about people or not be negative or even not even be negative where it's like, oh, I'm just a horrible bad person. No, not like that. Even have a negative thought like, I'm not going to be able to accomplish this because I don't have. That's when I became even more resourceful and I started using the things that I have around me to make this. Like to make whatever I need. I started using that. I started speaking positivity to myself. I overcame my fear of my own voice. And I've been talking ever since. Talking ever since. Speaking about, I would never, like I watched some of the videos that I usually wouldn't watch them. I would just post them and that'd be it. But I watched some of the videos and I just laughed and I smiled like, man, I came so far. Like right now, take a minute and look back. I know some people it'd be hard to look back, but just look back. Like even if you look back and you see, maybe you're not a mile ahead of where you once was, but you're only 2 steps. Those are 2 steps you should be proud of because you could still be back where you were. I do these nurturing conversations because I be liking to entertain. Like I literally like to entertain people in conversation. I do. I would never deny that. I do love talking. Especially about conversations that are taboo, conversations that people don't want to talk about. Like when I be talking about molestation, people be hitting me like, you shouldn't talk about that. No, we should talk about that. You know how many people we know been molested? Like if they take a poll, put 5 people in a lineup, I want to say 3 out of 5 is going to have some experience with molestation. That's just how prevalent it is. And then you have those people who block it out like, oh, it never happened to me, but you know it happened to you. Like these are situations or conversations that we should be having with our kids. Like if you're a parent, you should have conversations like that with your kid. Like I remember they would talk to us about the birds and the bees and how people shouldn't be touching your private parts and all of that stuff. People don't be having those kind of conversations with kids now. It's just like whatever. I need a babysitter, so you're gonna go over here. It's a no for me. When my nieces and nephews are here, I keep an eye on them. If y'all ever been on my live and y'all see they be in the back of me, I had to get off the live because I have to watch them. It's a no for me. I want everybody to be okay. I know I can't say no snaps and everything be straight. I know I can't do that, but I'm going to do my part to make sure that everybody is going to be okay. And how am I going to do that? I'm going to say go to therapy. If you do not feel yourself, if you feel like you're stuck in a relationship, talk about it. Talk about your likes and dislikes. If that person cannot listen to you, if they are not respectful of hearing what you are saying, you do not need to be in a relationship with them. But your family probably tell you, oh, they got this amount of money, or they bring this, or they do that. No, 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 no. At the end of the day, if you are unhappy, you should leave. Leave. That's easier said than done, Shell. I get it. I do. But at the end of the day, which is more important, the relationship that you are in or your happiness? When this is all, when I turn these lights off, I go in that room or I go in the kitchen and fix me something to eat, and I go sit down and watch Black Panther. I am going to breathe a sigh of relief because I did everything that I was supposed to do today, and I'm going to watch Black Panther, and then I'm going to probably play Call of Duty, and I'm going to go to sleep peacefully. Peacefully, I'm going to sleep. I was telling somebody, when I was going through all of that mental trauma and all of that shit, like I used to have nightmares and everything. Now I don't even dream. I just be sleeping. It's like I be sleeping on clouds, like real life clouds. I just be sleeping, and it is the most peaceful. When I breathe, it's so peaceful. Like everything is just so peaceful. My house, peaceful. That's all I want. Love, peace, and positivity. That's it. Like when you come from like trauma, drama, like turmoil, like when you come from all that shit, dysfunction, like it's a part of your life. Like if you're watching this and you come from all of that, there comes a time in your life where you just want peace. And I don't mean peace by like no longer making the option to no longer be here, but like making the decision to choose to be better, to live better, to want better, to do better. That was my decision. And I will forever be grateful for that decision. And every day, every time I appear here or wherever you see me, I will forever and always be light, love, and positivity. That is my goal. That will be my legacy. Light, love, and positivity. You'll be able to come back to these conversations and be like, man, she talked about a lot of shit in that conversation, but the most important thing is unlearn toxicity, unlearn masculine toxicity, unlearn family toxicity, dysfunctional shit. You saw your mama and daddy fight all the time and then they kiss and make up, and that's how you feel like your relationship's supposed to go. No, that's not. You should be able to talk and listen. Talk and listen, comprehend, understand, take part, ask your partner or the person that you are with or whoever what they are feeling, what they are thinking. Like that's where I feel like when we took that interaction, that personal communication interaction away, like shit just starts to be whatever. It's whatever. No, we got to do better. As a human race, we have to do better. Y'all see they overturning shit that's been in law for forever, and then people think it's about one thing and it's actually a whole bunch of things underlying, and this is just the thing that we're going to distract you with because all this underlying thing is you're not going to pay attention because you're distracted by this. Do y'all see the food shortages? Do y'all see like every other day it's like another disease or virus. We need each other. We need each other. We need to heal, and we need each other to heal. We need to support each other in healing, especially if you are a parent with with children, because those are the next generations. If you ever watch like the people that wear the hoods that's white, and you see like how do they instill that into their kids? Like their kids don't even see people of color, but they have hatred towards them. How do you teach a child hate? That's toxicity. How are you teaching anybody hate? I think everybody should be taught love and tolerance and understanding. That's what we should be teaching and sharing. That's all I got, y'all. Letting go, unlearning toxic behaviors, and unlearning toxicity. Unlearning all things toxic. If you ever sit and just think about, why the fuck do I do that? Why do I say that? Why do I pop off all the time? Why do I get angry so fast? Like if you never ask yourself those questions, now is the perfect time to do that. Like think about it. It's July, August, September, October, November, December. 22 will be over with. We survived a global fucking pandemic, multiple diseases, mass shootings. We're surviving. We should be living, living our best fucking lives right now. And if you are unhappy, now is the perfect time to do whatever the fuck you need to do, whether it's quit that job, leave that relationship, don't get married. Don't get married. People probably won't tell you, but I'll tell you, don't get married. If that is not what you want to do, if you're doing it just because you want to make the person that you with happy, don't do it. You can love that person, but not marry him. You could. I know it's like the normalcy of getting married and building a relationship, but if you've been together for 3, 4, 5, any number of years, you're technically like common law married, but I wouldn't take that next step, especially if you know, like a lot of people be getting married and they know that's not what they want to do. They know, you know that's not what you want to do. But you get married and then don't do it. Don't do it. Just don't do it. I want to implore you to be happy. Sit with your emotions. Confront the things that you've been running away from for forever. Confront them. Don't you think it's time? You got five months. I mean, July is pretty much, we're in the middle of it, so you got 5 months. 2019 ended, everybody was creating vision boards and doing all this shit, and then it's like, we are shutting the government down because there is a global pandemic. All your hopes and dreams, you put them up there on the shelf, like, yeah, one day I'm gonna get back to them. Now it's time to pull them off that shelf, dust them off, and get to it. 5 months before 2022 is over with. Get to it. Get it together. Unlearn toxicity. Don't pass that shit on to your kids, your grandkids. Like, think about it. A lot of negative shit. Like, you could pass on. You could pass on being successful. You could pass on entrepreneurship. You could pass on all of those things. You can pass those on. But that negative shit, cut it out. Cut it out. Calling kids out their name, calling people out their name, because kids be listening. Y'all don't be thinking kids be listening. You be like staying in a child place, but they still got their ears open. They still listening. They hear you talking about their mama. They hear you talking about their daddy, their grandma. They hear you talking about them badass kids up the street, around the corner, in the apartment across. They hear you talking about that. So now they're on the playground repeating the same shit that you were saying. You can't whoop them because you said that. I mean, you could, because, you know, that's a form of... But that's what you said. They heard you say that. That's all I got, though, y'all. I'm going to go make me something to eat. Not nothing heavy. Of course, it's going to be something light. And I'm going to watch me some Black Panther in preparation for Black Panther 2. I don't know when it's coming out, but I'm gonna watch Black Panther. Yeah, I love y'all. Remember, it is important for you to use your words because that is the only way that anyone will ever know what you are feeling and what you are thinking. I'm gonna say that one more time. Use your words. If you don't want to be somewhere, tell the person that you don't want to be there. If you're hungry, tell them that you're hungry. If you need help, tell them that you need help. You have to use your words. I know we be wanting people to read our minds and read our statuses and know that we need help, but tell someone. And if you have the opportunity, if you have the capability of helping somebody, help them. Don't put it off on Jesus gonna help you. Don't put it off on the church. Don't put it off on anybody else. If you have the capabilities to help somebody, help them. Remember, it's important for you to use your words. I will never let a live video vlog, anytime you see my beautiful face and these gorgeous dimples go out, without me telling you to love yourself. Love yourself. The most important person that you want to love you is you. Love yourself. Know yourself. Trust yourself. That small voice, the little voice, or maybe it's a loud voice. I don't know how your voice be talking to you, but mine is still small. But trust that little voice because it will not lead you wrong. It probably told you don't go somewhere. It probably told you don't say something. It probably told you not to get in a car. It probably told you don't send an email. Just listen to it. It's going to protect you. Just listen to it. For the love of humanity, just be yourself. Why? Because you need you, I need you, we need you. The fucking world needs you to be who you are created to be. We don't need you to hide. I know maybe your family might not like the fact that you love chess because they're all basketball players. So what? Be a fucking chess player. Stand out. Be different. I love y'all. Thank you for all the love and support for Saturday Night Vibes. Thank you for the love and support for tonight. I will see you in the morning, or actually I'll see you at 10:15 for nighttime meditation. And then I'll see you in the morning for Monday motivation. I appreciate all the love and support that y'all continue to show me. If you haven't already, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, follow, share, come back and watch it. Check out other videos on my channel. That's all I got. Until next time, I love you. Peace.